I went to Baltimore Comic Con for the first time over the weekend here, and boy, did I find a lot of books while I was at that con. So stay tuned to find out what I bought. Hey guys, welcome into another haul video here, haul video number 146. So again, thank you guys for joining in here. I do apologize, it's been a couple weeks. I was on vacation and then came back and was busy with catching up from work, as many of you guys can probably relate to that. But yeah, anyways, welcome into this haul here. So as I mentioned, I did go to Baltimore Comic Con 2023 for the first time ever. This is the first time I've ever gone to Baltimore for a comic convention, and it certainly did not disappoint. It was a lot. It was just a really fun day. I hung out with my friends. My fiance came with us, came with me, and we went down and made a day of it. So yeah, overall it was really fun. I'll talk more about the convention in the comic book section, but just as an FYI, this video will just be the comic haul for that trip. So I do have some Lego and other books that I'll be showing in my next haul. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to get a couple more IST purchases sent to me by then, so I can show you guys what I have there. But yeah, for the time being though, we'll go through this haul. It's plenty of stuff, so I will definitely be able to fill out a pretty large video of this. So yeah, without further ado here, let's go ahead and jump into the comics for this video. Alright guys, so again, thank you so much for tuning in here. So yeah, as I mentioned, went to Baltimore Comic Con. This is the second time I've mentioned it, I guess, or third time. But yeah, just to talk a little bit about the con itself. Drove down to Baltimore. My fiance and I went to Starbucks, got something to eat real quick, and then made our way over to the con. We were a little late getting there just because there was like a 5K that was going on, so we got delayed there. But yeah, but overall, definitely had enough time to shop around at all the vendors. It's funny, like when I was first going to cons, I was so concerned I wouldn't have enough time to shop everywhere. And nowadays, it's kind of like I already tap out in terms of what I'm willing to spend or what I'm okay with having by like lunchtime. So it's just the way it is, I guess, nowadays. But yeah, overall, though, it was really cool. I guess just to compare it to other cons I've been to, it definitely had a lot more comic book retailers, which obviously is kind of expected with a Comic Con, but I have heard that like this con itself is more centered around like comics themselves. That's not to say that they didn't have like other pop culture things that you could get into there. They had a whole video game area that I didn't have time to get to, which is all right. I'm not a huge video game fan. I mean, I play a couple games here and there, but they had that. I think I saw people playing Super Smash Bros. So like, stuff like that. There was plenty of like arts and artists and writers and all this other stuff. There was some celebrity guests. The guy who plays Neville Longbottom, I think his name is like Michael Lewis or something like that. He was there, so we got to see we got to see him kind of sign autographs and stuff like that. So that was fun. But yeah, it was really fun. Walking around Baltimore for the first time. It was really nice that that kind of inner harbor area. We actually parked in a parking garage a little bit out of the way, but it was a nice walk though. Very it's definitely very different from Philly. It has a more like traditional vibe, I feel like. Can't really describe it that well. But yeah, it was good. We went to a pizza place for lunch, so we got some pizza, like personal pan pizzas, which were really yummy. And then just shopped around the con. I was pretty much tapped out by like 4 o'clock. I actually went out and sat with my fiance on like the hall for a little bit because I would just need to get off my legs. Over almost 14,000 steps yesterday, so I certainly got, my steps in, and definitely worked it off, I guess. But yeah, I guess before and again, it was also really nice to see all my friends too. I got to see all my friends from college, so that was really fun. We were shopping. I forgot to bring stuff for the writers and artists to sign, so I totally blanked on that. But I know a couple of my friends got signatures from some of their favorite artists, so that was really fun to see that. But yeah, overall, I found a lot. Before I get into this haul, though, I do just want to talk briefly about what I've read, just as an FYI for the previous video. So, I believe in the previous video I talked about reading Captain Marvel. So, I have since pretty much finished that run, but I'll show you a book here that kind of might lengthen that run a little bit for me. So I finished that. I read The Life of Captain Marvel, which was a nice, cool little origin story there of Carol Danvers. And I kind of read a couple books to time me over until my vacation, which I did bring like a designated amount of books for vacation. I'll talk about those too. But I read Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. I thought that was a really nice little story there. I read Champions Volume 5, so I've trying to keep up with that. I know I recently purchased that volume, so I just went ahead and read it since it was a quick read there. And then I brought down 8 books, I believe, to Stone Harbor, where I went for vacation. Stone Harbor, New Jersey. I read Avengers Celestial Quest, which is kind of like an extension of the Celestial Madonna storyline that we saw in like the 1970s with Steve Englehart as the writer there. That was pretty interesting. Kind of centered around Mantis's son, who was like a Kotati, like perfect human being, like perfect human / Kotati like mix or whatever. So that was kind of interesting there. And then I read Batman Hush. I really enjoyed that storyline. That was a really interesting take there. And then read Batman Broken City, which again, that was very good. Brian Azzarello as the writer there. And then let's see what else I read. I read Kieran Gillen's Thor, which comes after just JMS's run. Didn't really like that much. Really was my fancy. To be honest, Thor really wasn't around much of the book. It's kind of a little weird when you have the main character of the book not really being around for most of the book. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. It wasn't really my spot of tea, I guess, but I think it's one of those things too where I feel like it probably reads better with all of them together. And I was actually looking online, and it looks like we're getting a reprint of the JMS Thor omnibus, but it's also going to have the Kieran Gillen stuff. I'm not sure if that was what it was originally or if it was separate, but anyways, it'll have all that stuff together, which I think is how it's kind of intended to be read. So if you're looking to read that era of Thor, I would definitely recommend reading it all straight through rather than doing something like I did where I read the JMS in 2017 and then wait 6 years later to read the Kieran Gillen run. So yeah, there's just a lot of like status quo things that I just had to kind of refresh my memory about. So there's that. Let's see what else here. I read Justice. So Alex Ross art, fantastic. Chef's kiss. Definitely would recommend there. I'm not sure which one's better, that or Kingdom Come. They're both different storylines, but I definitely think you should read both of them if you're just a DC fan in general. For someone like myself, I'm not a huge DC fan, so like I still could understand what was going on even without all the background of all the characters that were in there. So I think it's a really good evergreen book for people to pick up. Let's see what else. I did read. I read this Beta Ray Bill miniseries. So that was really cool. Got to read that. Beta Ray Argent Star. That was a really quick read, and I really enjoyed it as well. So that was good. Let's see here. I also read a Scarlet Witch book. It's like the Avengers Scarlet Witch collection, kind of like a bunch of hodgepodge stuff. The main storyline with it is this Abnett and Lanning miniseries that came out in the 90s. Probably around the time that she was on the West Coast Avengers. So for anyone who's curious of where that fits in. But yeah, I think that's everything I read. I'm trying to remember if I forgot anything else, but I'm pretty sure I am forgetting something, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, and then once I came back from vacation, I did read some other smaller things. I read the Trinity book about the atomic bomb, so that was a nice little mini read there. Kind of just touched on the same points as Oppenheimer, honestly. I read Janice Fell, Captain Marvel by Peter David. That was pretty nice. I just didn't really know much of what was going on. I mean, I had an inkling of what was going on there. Totally did not know that Rick Jones got married at some point, so that was kind of funny, I guess, because Rick Jones is kind of like a meme in the world of Marvel, I feel like. Um, and then I also did read Ex Machina. So read that whole series. The Omni is actually sitting on the shelf above the shot here. Um, but yeah, I read that whole Omni in like less than a week, to be honest, which is crazy for me. It was 1,400 pages, but man, that a page turner. That was. I feel like this whole like what I've been reading has been building to me talking about this, but yeah, I really really enjoyed that book. Tony Harris art, Brian K. Vaughan writing. It was just such a page turner for me, and I hate to use the word it's appropriate, but it's kind of, I guess, semi coincidental timing that I'm reading this around the time of 9/11 because the main like plot point with this whole story is that this, character Mitchell Hundred, who is the hero of the Great Machine, he basically becomes the mayor of New York City after saving the South Tower from the 9/11 terrorist attacks. So unfortunately, he doesn't save the North Tower. That one is the one that collapses, unfortunately. I think I had that right. I don't think I mixed it, but that's basically what the whole story is about, is just him being the mayor of New York City and dealing with all that while also having this reputation of being this ex-hero who saved New York from this terrorist attack, or at least partially saved them, I guess. But yeah, just a very interesting look at and take on that, to be honest. I mean, for anyone who's curious, it doesn't really like harp too much on that. It's more just like the nexus, or like the turning point of his career in terms of like going from hero to mayor. But a lot of it's more like political intrigue and just a lot of like that stuff. So if you're into that, I would highly recommend picking it up. There's 2 compendiums if you're interested in that, or if you want to just get the Omni. The Omni is big, like I said before, probably the biggest book I have in my collection. So, but yeah, and right now I've kind of taken a whole 180-degree turn here, and I am actually reading a couple things right now. I'm backtracking and reading the first few Epic collections of X-Men. So I'm gonna try to finish off and round out that era of my X-Men read through there, because I've never read all that stuff through, and I'm really interested in the Neil Adams, Roy Thomas stuff. I'm on issue 3 right now, so it's gonna take me a while to get through that, but I'm gonna power through. And I'm also reading the Miss Marvel Kamala Khan stuff post G.W. Wilson. So I'm gonna read those 3 trades. I think it's The Magnificent Miss Marvel is the title of the book. So I'm gonna read that, just trying to fill in those gaps of Marvel reading before I go and see the Marvels in November. So I know it's been a long intro here, but I just want to give you guys up to speed on everything I've read. As you can see, it's a lot. So that's what happens when I've been gone for 2.5 weeks. I guess I read a shit ton of books, and obviously the 1 week I was basically reading books all day because I was on vacation. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm really excited. I'm getting closer and closer to that 50% mark of my collection, which to me is insane. I mean, so far this year, I think I've read about like 6 or 7% of my collection, which again sounds small, but in the large scheme of things, that's a big chunk of reading I've been able to get done this year. So yeah, that's kind of where I sit. So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get into all these books that I just bought. All right, so yeah, well, so as I said, bought all this stuff. I think total I might have spent around $150 to $200 for all this, which again, when you see everything I got, it's actually a pretty good deal. I think everything I got here was at least 50% off, if not more. So really got some good deals here, and yeah, just really, really fun shopping around, getting all these books. Okay, so with the magic of editing, I am back. So yeah, had some things fall in my closet over there. Wasn't anything too like, it's not like a shelf broke or anything like that. It was just some stuff that fell, some smaller things. But anyways, let's go and get into this haul that I have for the Baltimore Comic Con. So first book we have here is Volume 9 of Avengers by Jason Aaron. So picked this up at a vendor for $5. Which you can see here, this is a thicker paperback. This collects issues 46 through 50 of the Avengers storyline with Jason Aaron. So you can see here, this one's called World War She-Hulk. So I'm going to show some better art here. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I've already committed to the trade paperback route for this. So I do have the only two volumes I need to fill in like my continuous gap that I have here now is 7 and 8, and then I believe it goes up to volume 11. So not too many more to find, but you know, again, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to find these in stores for cheap. I have been, you know, finding them like as they've been coming out, right? So you know, give it another couple of years or even a couple months now, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find the other volumes I'm looking for. So yeah, really cool to get that for a decent price. I'll put all these books down here, I guess. Next book I got here was the thumbnail for this video, and that is the Captain America Iron Man miniseries here from 2021. Well, actually, maybe it's more than just one volume. It has a volume 1 on the side, but I don't know if this is more than 5 issues. Maybe, who knows. Definitely attracted to this based on the cover, but obviously, you know, kind of harkening back to the Tales of Suspense days where when Captain America and Iron Man shared a book. This is kind of unique little storyline here. I honestly couldn't tell you what this storyline's about, but I'm really excited to read this. This is written by Derek Landy. So I believe this is using the Iron Man that we have from Cantwell's run. So I believe this should be in the same universe as that run. I mean, it's the same armor, it looks like, as that run. So I'm excited to see what this is about, and obviously can't go wrong with those Alex Ross covers. So pretty neat. Alex Ross has been used a lot recently for his covers. I feel like, I mean, you know, just all of the you know, there's just so many there's so many books now that are using Alex Ross covers. I feel like Immortal Hulk, this Ta-Nehisi Coates' run has, you know, Alex Ross covers. It's just, there's so many that I'm probably not even remembering right now. But yeah, got that for $5 as well. So nice to get that on the sale. Picked this book up. I got the Invincible Iron Man by Jerry Duggan, numbers 1 through 6 here. So this is the Iron Man run currently that's coming out. This is post Cantwell. So I have 2 more volumes of Cantwell I need to find. Unfortunately, at this con, I was only able to find volumes 1 and 2 of Cantwell's run, which I already own. So I'm hoping to find volumes 3 and 4 for a decent price. Or, you know, depending on how much the hardcover is for that series, when it eventually comes out, I might just get that, you know, because I certainly don't want to pay more money for paperbacks if I can get it for a nice cheap price for a hardcover. So we'll see. It's just tough to say sometimes with some of these books, like how they collect them. And especially for Marvel, like hardcovers, like just regular hardcovers, like don't stay in print too long. Like they stay in print, like, you know, you still have a legitimate chance to get them, but they just don't have as long of a print run, I feel like, as like other types of books do. So but yeah, really interesting here. I do like Jerry Duggan, I don't know how you pronounce his name, apologize for that, but looks like he's keeping that similar type of armor as Cantwell is, and you know, I'm just really glad we're getting this like a consistent like Iron Man run that's, you know, kind of looks like it's pretty faithful to the. I mean, I just love the suit, the way the suit looks in like the last 3 or 4 years. I feel like it's just been so much nicer and just a breath of fresh air. So hopefully that continues with this run as well. Moving on here, this is another book that my friends just placed into my hand. He's a big Moon Knight fan, and he found for me at the same place I had this sale going on. This one book I got for $5. This is the first trade of Jed MacKay's Moon Knight run. So really have a soft spot for Jed MacKay. You know, I was reading a lot of his Black Cat stuff as it was coming out, and it seems like he's been given more and more opportunities with Marvel ever since that. You know, he's been doing some Avengers stuff, I feel like. He's now on Moon Knight, so I'm very hopeful about this. Obviously, you know, really into Moon Knight ever since the TV show came out. I really enjoyed that TV show, to be honest. I really had a fun time watching it. And even all the reading I had, you know, all the reading that I did before it, you know, reading the Epic collections, getting excited for the show. I'm really capitalizing off that hype, so really fun to pick up this trade. And it's really funny, after I bought this trade, my friend told me, he's like, my friend that likes Moon Knight, he was like, you know, volume 4 of this series comes out this week, you know, definitely time to play catch up. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for the rest of these trades in shops, see if I can pick some up for a good price. So really, really fun to be reading some Moon Knight again. I definitely have a couple more things of Moon Knight I have to read, but I do want to save it because I think we might be getting a second season of that show. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So there's that. This book my friend bought for me at a store the day before the comic convention, and that is Superman Volume 7 of the Rebirth stuff. Well, actually, I guess this is post-Rebirth because we don't have that little like Rebirth logo on the top, but this is Volume 7 Bizarroverse. So again, Patrick Gleason, Peter Tomasi on the book here, and this collects issues 42 through 45 and Superman Special Number 1 and Action Comics 1000. So this is a nice little spread there. But yeah, just continuing my collection of Peter Tomasi Superman here, and yeah, just really enjoying collecting this. So I have volumes 1 through 7 now, as well as the Superman Reborn kind of like tie-in book there. So yeah, really filling out my Superman corner here. So really, really fun to pick this up. Got this for half price from that store that my friend went to. So thanks, Mike, for getting me that. Another DC trade paperback I got at the con was Wonder Woman Volume 5, Heart of the Amazon. This is not the original writer, which I believe was Greg Rucka, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong there. But this collects issues 26 through 30 of Wonder Woman, as well as Wonder Woman Steve Trevor number 1 and stories from Wonder Woman Annual number 1. So yeah, at this point, I believe the original writer, which I believe is Greg Rucka, has walked off the book, but you can see here, still a nice looking book. I'm excited to read this storyline. Again, Wonder Woman's one of those characters I still haven't dipped my toes into yet, but I definitely want to read what I do own of the George Perez run, and you know, again, just skip around and fill in the gaps where they are. But really nice to get this for half price as well. All right, next bundle of books here were a series that I have been, like I've said before, I have basically made the determination that I'll be collecting this series until who knows when. But I made some really good finds yesterday at the con for this series that I've been collecting in trade paperback, which my friends make fun of me for because a lot of these books are out of print, but I have been really fortunate again to find some of these out of print books at shops recently. And that series is X Factor by Peter David, which I think has like 22 volumes or something. But ended up getting 3 volumes that I needed. This one, volume 12, Scar Tissue, collects issues 213 through 219 of X Factor. And this one, I believe, is the one that was kind of hard to find here, but you can see here the art. Really nice going on there. So yeah, grab this one for half off. All these books were half off cover, so again, just insane deals here for some of these books, which are really hard to find. This is X Factor Volume 17, The Road to Redemption. This collects issues 237 through 240 of X Factor. You can see here the back as well. Nice art going on there. This is a much thinner trade than the other one I just held in my hand, so you know, it is what it is, but really nice to get these as well. And then the last volume I got that I needed was X Factor Volume 20, Hell on Earth War. So this collects issues 250 through 256 of X Factor, and yeah, really, really nice stuff going on here. You can see here some of the art. So again, just insane deals here. You know, really, really nice to get all these for half off. So like, you know, all these were cover 16, so I got these all for 8, which can't really do much better than that for some of these trades nowadays. So I'm just gonna organize these real quick because they're kind of like starting to move all around stuff, so I just gotta organize them a little bit. All right, the next chunk of books here is a full series of a book that X book that I was tempted on getting the Omni for, like way back. This was like probably like 4 or 5 years ago when the Omni was in print, and I just didn't spring for it because I just wasn't a huge fan of the character. But I was looking at this, my friends actually found these books for me, and went ahead and bought it because it's the whole series, and that is X-Men Legacy. So this is a series that came out in 2012, got an Omni I think around like 2016, 2017 maybe. But this is all based around Legion, who is a, you know, one of the, is a, you know, a mutant and stuff, and he actually did have his own show on FX, I believe, so, or Fox or whatever. So if you're curious about that, you can definitely check that out. But yeah, I got all 4 volumes of this series, so this collects issues 1 through 6 of that. Arguably one of my favorite covers that I think I've seen in a comic is the one that is kind of showcased here on the back, you know, with them on all different puzzle pieces. But yeah, really neat. Got volume 1 there. Volume 2 has issues 7 through 12. I won't show the art of all of these, but volume 3 here, 13 through 18. And then volume 4 here, which concludes the series, 19 through 24. So, yeah, really, really neat to get this. This wasn't really on my radar to pick up, but again, whenever I get a chance to collect the full series, and I definitely think, you know, reading this stuff, I think this will go by really quickly. You know, just for skinny trades, I think I can definitely pump this out, read this series within a couple days. So it's not like it's adding too much to my backlog. But yeah, really, really fun to get this, and I am looking forward to reading this as well. I don't have, like, you know, obviously with the X-Men books, it's very easy to get lost in the woods with that, to buy a lot of X-Men books, and I just have like a lot of like the main like continuity stuff, and like, you know, just some of the hits, the things that like I've heard from my friends are really good. I just picked those up, so that's kind of how I operate with that. So there's that. Next book I got here, I got this also for $5 with that sale at that one vendor, and that is I Kill Giants. So I honestly don't know too much about this other than my friend's recommendation, but yeah, really, really fun graphic novel here. Looking through, it's black and white, but I think this is going to be really nice to read. Definitely, the art is phenomenal. You know, it looks like a very quick read as well, so I think I'm going to enjoy this. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Attack on Titan, because Attack on Titan is basically about, you know, people fighting against giants or titans. So I don't, probably not anything related to that, but that's just kind of what I think of. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get into these last couple books here. So these last couple books are some thicker books that I bought, and story with this, my friend was thinking about getting this, and I told him, because there's only one copy available, I said, if you want it, you can have it. I said, you know, but if you're not interested in it, I will definitely take it. So, you know, I kind of just, I wasn't like forcing him to like take it or whatever. Like I just told him, I said, like, if you want it, like you can have it. Like I'm not going to be upset if you want to have this and whatever. But he actually held it in his hands for a little bit, and then he just gave it to me and was like, here you go, you can have it. And I'm like, okay. So I obviously paid for it, but you know, he told me I could take it, you know, buy it. So, and that is Outcast, the complete compendium here. This collects issues 1 through 48 of the series, and honestly, I kind of blind bought this based off of the creative team alone. You know, obviously Robert Kirkman and Azecheta. I don't know how you pronounce that. I apologize, but yeah, basically it's about this character named Kyle Barnes who is plagued by demonic possession all his life, and now he needs answers. Unfortunately, what he uncovers along the way could bring about the end of life on Earth as we know it. So, interesting premise. 48 issue series, all contained this nice, thick compendium paperback. I was sold. You can see here the back, or the spine and the back here. The art in the inside looks really nice. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Sean Phillips. So I'm really, really pumped to read this. This looks like it's going to be a nice, really thrilling, quick read. So again, I know I don't buy stuff all just because it's quick, but I think this is going to be a really nice treat to it's going to be a page turner if that makes it sound better, I guess. But yeah, really, really hyped to get that and really excited to read that someday. All right, so earlier I did mention how one of the books I bought at the con might be extending my Captain Marvel readathon, and that is this book right here. That is the Captain Marvel Omni. So I got this for 40% off at the con, so I did splurge a little bit on this. This isn't as competitive in terms of pricing as IST. I mean, this is around the same price, like what you would pay for it on IST, to be honest. But wanted to get this just because, you know, I did read, and I can actually pull it out right here because I am going to sell this at some point, but I did read this Marvel Masterwork of Captain Marvel, which has Marvel Superheroes 12 through 13 and Captain Marvel 1 through 9. I really enjoyed this, to be honest. I thought it was just going to be a slog to get through, but the writing by Arnold Drake and the art with Gene Colan and Gil Kane was really nice to read through. I'm sorry, Don Heck. You know, Roy Thomas also was doing some writing here too, but just a really nice treat to read this. So this was kind of like my little appetizer towards this, and definitely made me want to go out and upgrade to this. So this collects issues, you know, obviously the 2 Marvel Superheroes issues, and then it also has Captain Marvel numbers 1 through 33, as well as Invincible Iron Man 55 and material from Not Brand Ek 9. So when it comes down to it, the only new stuff that I'll be reading here is issues 10 through 33 of Captain Marvel, which, again, I thought was a worthy investment. I definitely see myself rereading this at some point, maybe like way down the line, obviously. But this is just some very classic stuff here. I also think this has the Jim Starlin Captain Marvel stuff, which, again, I did read some of that in here. So I'll pull this out too, and I'll have to put this back maybe. But this has Marvel, you know, Marvel Superheroes 12 to 13, Captain Marvel number 1. So again, double dipping with this book. But it also has number 34, which is right after this. So this is, you know, Captain Marvel 34 is when, you know, he comes face to face with Nitro, and you know, fights them, and then gets exposed to the nerve gas, which eventually gives him cancer. So yeah, I think this is a really nice book to have to kind of round out that era. There were some things that were referenced in Carol Danvers' Marvel stuff that I kind of missed out on by not reading this. So it's not like I don't have any idea what will happen, but it's kind of nice to have this part just to kind of see what happens to some of the characters like Una and Jan Rog. I don't really know what they're like. I know what happens to them, but I don't know how it happens to them, so I'm really excited to read this and find out. So that's why I picked this up, and really, really nice cover there. I believe this is Gene Colan Jane Colin's cover. I could be wrong there, but yeah, really pumped to read this, and nice to have it in the collection. And lastly here, the last book I got here was a big book, not heavy, but just big in general, and that is the Carnage Black, White, and Blood Treasury Edition here. So recently picked up my first Treasury Edition book, which you'll have to wait till next haul video to see what that is. But went and bought this because this is actually over 50% off of the cover price. This was originally for $30. I got it for $12. But yeah, the Treasury Editions here are huge. Looking here, they just barely don't fit into my shelf. So I'll have to figure out where the hell I'm going to put these. But yeah, this collects issues 1 through 4 of Carnage, Red, White, and Blood, which obviously or Black, White, and Blood, which obviously the gimmick, I guess, if you want to say that, is that everything here is drawn and colored in black, white, or red. So interesting storyline here. This giant format really just makes the art pop, and obviously the nice contrast with the red, white, and black, I think, is really fun. So should be a fun, nice little read here, and I'm excited. This is actually bigger than an Omni, and I believe this size is actually bigger than an Absolute too, so it's just insane how big this is. So we'll definitely have to find a place for this. I don't know where it's going to be, but that's always the problem you figure out after the fact. Buy first and find a place to store it later. So yeah, so got this, and that is my haul here, guys. So 21 minutes later, that's everything I have. So I'm gonna go put all this stuff away. I have to update my spreadsheet, but let's go ahead and get into the outro here for this haul video. All right, guys, so again, thank you so much for watching. Again, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It all really helps grow the channel. I do videos like these pretty much every week. I know I say that now, as I have missed a couple weeks, but if you're waiting to see a new video be posted, there's an entire playlist of all these other videos that I did. At this point now, over 5 years of haul videos to go back to and look through. So definitely recommend doing that. Obviously the first few will be kind of shittier in quality, but I hope that since then I've been able to grow the quality a little bit more each video and have a better viewing experience for you guys. But anyways, again, just want to thank my friends again for coming to Comic Con. It was nice seeing all of you guys again. I kind of went to this con just because I missed out on PhillyCon because of this medical emergency that I had, which again is completely fine now and resolved, but just really made me look forward to it, and just made me really happy to be with everyone again, because sometimes stuff like that happens and you miss out on things with friends, so it's always nice to spend time and just talk comics. It's always nice to shop for that stuff. So yeah, anyways, guys, I will see you next time, and again, please consider like, comment, and subscribing, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace.